back to season 3 of Simply Smarter. We're so excited to be back with our listeners. On today's show, we have a very special guest with us. Rob Hughey from Team Cura will be joining us to talk about how high school students can gain confidence, develop interpersonal skills, and build their personal brand both on and off the field. It's going to be a great episode you don't want to miss. Here we go. Welcome back. We're so excited for today's episode. We have Rob Hughey from Team Cura. Hi, Rob.
How are you, Jill? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you.
And you used to just be right down the road.
Yeah.
And then, so like you're our neighbor.
I know.
It's awesome.
It's a small world.
Yeah.
Little Park, it's a tiny community.
Right. So what's new?
Well, I can't believe it's already 2020.
It's insane.
I know.
Have you written 2019, scratched it out 2020 yet?
So that was one of in my gratitude journal that I write in every single day.
Well, that's good that you do that.
First day of January that I wrote, I was like, I'm grateful today that I remembered writing 2020 as the date instead of 2019.
Right.
What happens the very next day? I write 2019.
Oh, well, you started off strong.
I started off strong, but it's having to be consciously aware of the fact that it's already 2020.
You're right. I know.
New decade.
It's crazy. What did you think was going to happen in 2020? Like the year 2000. Like, do you remember 1999? Like New Year's Eve, 1999, and the world was going to crash.
Yeah.
And the next minute, and it didn't.
Everybody was preparing for Y2K.
Yes. We're like, what are the computers going to do?
Well, see, the Jetsons predicted that we would have flying cars by now.
Right.
And unfortunately, we don't.
Tesla's pretty close.
I know.
It can drive itself.
I know. Self-driving cars.
It's insane.
It's going to be the vision of 2020, the new decade.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. How were the holidays?
They were good. Yeah, we just stuck around here in Kansas City, and
nice.
It was nice and relaxing and
kind of chill.
Yeah, nice. I love that.
Yeah, and it was nice weather here too, like in the 60s.
My parents actually played golf on Christmas morning.
No way.
They played 9 holes. Yeah.
Oh, good for them.
I know. It's the nice thing about
that's so cool.
Nice thing about the Midwest. You can sporadically get nice weather here and there in December.
And then the next day it's 6 inches of snow. Everything's shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Midwest weather for you.
Nuts. I traveled a little bit. I went to South Dakota and then to Iowa and then back down to Kansas. So we were gone for 9 days with all the children. Yeah. So it was kind of a lot. We were ready to be back home, but it was, always a good time to see family and friends and be together during the holidays.
Yeah,
so
there's nothing better.
I know. Yeah. Do you have any specific holiday traditions that you guys do?
So the only really tradition that we do every year on Thanksgiving Day Eve, we watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Of course.
It's a classic.
It's a classic.
Yeah. And so that's really the only one that we stick to every single year.
Yes.
But really just spending time with my family is extremely important to me. So
good. You're a family guy.
Yeah. My sister is important to me. Both my parents are both my heroes. So
good.
I like being able to be close to them.
Well, good. Yeah. Speaking of your parents being heroes, let's kind of get into Team Cura. Now you are involved with Team Cura along with your mom and dad. Kind of tell us a little bit about the history behind Team Cura and how it all formed and kind of started.
Yeah. Whew. Okay. So I could give you the long version or I could give you kind of a shorter version.
Maybe like a middle version.
Maybe a middle version? Okay.
Yeah.
That was one of my 2020 goals, is to be more concise with my explanations and my dialogue with them. So this will be a great exercise for me.
This will be a good test for you.
Exactly. So quick backstory. I played golf in high school and in college. I went to the University of Central Missouri over in Warrensburg and really had a lot of success on the golf course and in the classroom. Didn't really recognize the classroom benefits until my junior and senior year.
Of course.
Playing from behind a little bit, but better late than never, I like to say.
Yep.
But really a lot of the foundations that we really pride ourselves on at Team Cura began when I was going through the recruiting process in high school and then going into college and then beyond. So one of the stories that I like to tell a lot is I got my first job out of college by handwriting the CEO of the company that I went to school or went to work for a handwritten thank you note and leaving it on his desk in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yes, I love that. So important.
Very small token of appreciation.
Yeah, simple.
But within 24 hours of my final interview, he calls me and says, Hughey, I want to offer you a job because you handwrote me that thank you note. And I was like, wow.
Because who else did?
Right.
No one.
Nobody else did.
Probably just you.
And unfortunately, there's a negative stigma associated with late millennials, early generation Zers. And I broke that stigma, and he addressed that. And
Right.
he was a very intimidating guy. He was 6'4", handsome Italian guy. And he calls me and he says, you wrote me that handwritten thank you note. Nobody else did. And I was like, okay, maybe there's something to that.
Right.
And so fast forward 2.5 years, moved back to Kansas City. I moved to, right after college, I moved to Denver for 1.5 years, moved to Charlotte for a year after that, moved back to Kansas City. So
Can't stay away.
I know, a lot of bouncing around, but so I moved back to Kansas City to start Team Cura with my mom, because we had focused, there is something to this. There's a lot of benefit to being a student athlete, a lot of lessons that you can learn from the world of athletics, and, what can we do to curate a learning education that is in a way that Generation Z enjoys learning?
Yeah.
And that's in video curriculum.
Yep.
So that's where Team Cura was really founded on, was taking information, drawing on my experiences and our experiences as a family, going through the college recruiting process, what the benefits of being a student athlete in college and then after are, the long-term benefits, and really creating a curriculum that can help student athletes at the high school level develop their personal brand and develop their marketability and recruitability going into college as a student or a student athlete.
Right.
And then what are the benefits beyond once they enter into the work world?
Yes, that is so important. I mean, there's so many kids who don't know to stand up and shake someone's hand.
Sure.
They just, sit down and expect them to come over to them and shake their hand.
Yeah.
Little things like that. I mean,
Right.
that is so important to know. I don't know if students nowadays just don't know that or, what the theory behind that is. But just little things. And the videos are short, right?
Right. So typically we try to keep them short in length, like you said, Jill, typically between 2 and 3 minutes in length. But they're bite size. We call them snackable videos.
Yes.
So
cute.
I can't take credit for that term. That's I think that's a term in the world of marketing used today, is the snackable content. But yeah, they're bite size segments that are intended to be actionable takeaways.
Yep.
That's not the video curriculum is not intended to be very lecture based. It's here are 2 or 3 main takeaways. Go out, implement the learned behavior, and report back what it is that went well. So, they're short in length, 2 to 3 minutes in length. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the program itself is called Skills Beyond Drills. And so you have 2 to 3 minutes. How many videos in all do you have?
Yep. So there are about 40 videos entirely that make up Skills Beyond Drills.
And are they broken up into different categories?
Yes, you're exactly right. So we focus on 3 main categorical areas, and that's being professionalism, communication, and managing your social media presence. Because in the world we live in,
oh man,
there is an ever-developing need and presence for social media, and that's across all generations. That's with millennials,
100%.
Generation Z, Generation X, and so what are you doing as a student and a student athlete in managing your social media presence that is going to reflect positively on the prospective institution that you are going to?
That's huge.
Yep.
I mean, because even on Snapchat, it's there for 24 hours, but hello, you can screenshot, you can, you can record that, you can get that off, of Snapchat or even your Instagram stories, or, if you think it's only going to be there for a minute, that is not accurate.
So funny story, in one of our videos in our social media series, I draw an experience that I had in college. So there was a baseball player on the men's baseball team at UCM who did exactly that. Took a Snapchat video one night and broke into the maintenance shed at the baseball facility and stole the maintenance golf cart. Took a Snapchat video of him driving it through the outfield, drove it through the outfield wall, posted it to his Snapchat story. Next morning, police show up at his apartment and arrest him for breaking and entering and vandalism.
Did he put the golf cart back?
He didn't.
Oh.
He left it.
He didn't even cover up his tracks.
Right. He didn't cover literally, pun intended, did not cover his bases. So yeah.
Rob.
So that's one of the analogies that we use in the video curriculum. Whether you think that it's going away within 24 hours or not, somebody out there, whether it be a teammate, an acquaintance, a athletic administrator, a professor,
coach,
a coach, can certainly,
your parents
can certainly see that, and maybe don't post that to your Snapchat story.
And just be mindful, right? I mean, just be mindful. Don't think in the moment. Think about your future, no matter, if it's Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook or anything. Like, every choice that you make will affect you in your, in your future.
That's exactly right. And a lot of what you see in the media today is so negatively associated with social media. And that's certainly not what we are imposing is, stay off social media, don't use Snapchat, don't use Instagram.
Yeah, just make wise choices.
That's exactly right, Jill. And because you can certainly use social media to your benefit as well.
100%.
Because coaches, professors, potential future employers as well have such a finite amount of time to find out, what is Jill, what are her interests? What is she passionate about? Is she really family and friends focused? Does she love cooking? Does she love culinary? Does she love sports? Does she love animals? And you can really portray a positive personal brand, personal image on social media by posting things that reflect positively on you.
Yes.
So that's what we really focus on, is not just the negatives associated with social media, but how can you use it to your benefit as well? So
yeah, absolutely. Now, what about the parents? I mean, how are the parents going to be involved with the Skills Beyond Drills program as well?
Sure. So we have a series of ebooks and assessments, self-assessments, and guides that help guide student athletes through the Skills Beyond Drills curriculum. And once the completion is done, there's a certification involved with it as well. We are in the development stages of a parent series as well. We're calling it the Parent Playbook, to help guide and assist sports parents to being the best support system that they can possibly be for their son or daughter.
Yeah.
So
I think parents in general want to be a huge support system for their student.
Right.
Sometimes we just don't know how. And what does that look like on a day-to-day level?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, we see a lot in the media as well about, there was one instance over the summer in Colorado. It was a youth t-ball game. These are 6 and 7-year-olds at a t-ball game. Two dads go out on the diamond, are disputing a call that the umpire made, and they start throwing punches at each other. So
no.
Yeah. So
I mean, I can attest that I have a 7-year-old who played baseball this past summer, and I mean, it does get heated. There are some teams that are, let's just say, quite a bit better than our team. That was, this past summer and fall. But again, they're 6 and 7-year-olds. They're learning. There is a huge learning curve to any sport. And so there were teams that were quite a bit better, and they were competitive. Very, very competitive. And then that kind of makes you competitive, because you're like, wait a minute, well, if you're going to call that, then we want to call this over here. But then you really sit back, your 6 and 7-year-old they're going to be fine. Let them learn the sport. They're not arguing. They just want to play. It's the parents that are getting involved. So that makes perfect sense.
You're exactly right. And there are a lot of case studies out there as well that portray the positive correlations between playing a team sport at a young age, such as 6 and 7-year-old baseball, for instance, in this example, and the lifetime value, whether a young male or female wants to go on and play at the competitive club level, play at high school level, or at the collegiate level. Those impacts and those lasting lessons playing a team sport at an early age pay dividends throughout the duration of one's life. So there are a lot of studies out there that that are saying, well, should 6 and 7-year-olds really be keeping score, or should they be focusing more on the development and the team camaraderie aspect of it?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, there's certainly nothing wrong with friendly competition, and then there's obviously the benefit of creating the team aspect as well. Because whether you're going into the high school level or in college as well, I can certainly remember doing a lot of group projects in college and in the work world as well. You were working on teams constantly, whether it's in your own internal office, coast to coast, and in the world we live in, so much of it is virtual. So working in a team collaborative environment, starting that at an early age,
learning how to listen. Listening to your coach.
With one another.
Talking to your teammates. That communication aspect is huge.
And that's what Skills Beyond Drills really prepares young people for, young student athletes, is being able to make that transition from the high school stage of their life into college at as an easier transition.
Yeah. And speaking of college, we here at Get Smarter Prep are mainly focused on the ACT and SAT and some of those tests. How does that reflect with Team Cura?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, obviously there's an athletic perspective of going into college and being a student athlete, but the terminology student athlete, what's the first word in that? Student.
Yes.
Exactly. So being a student first and foremost, I remember drawing on my experience playing golf in college. It was the most rewarding experience of my life personally. I mean, I made some of the best friends that I still keep in contact with to this day.
That. Yeah.
And I was provided the opportunity to be an athlete, but being a student first. And Get Smarter Prep is an unbelievable asset for high school students to take advantage of, because I remember when I was in high school, I wasn't the best standardized test taker,
right?
And there were a few colleges that were giving me the opportunity to make my dream a reality. And there was one school in particular I remember that the coach approached me and said, Robert, if you get an extra 2 points on your ACT this year, you can be eligible for an extra $8,000 in tuition each semester.
Oh my, that's huge. Yeah,
it's huge.
That's
and over
awesome.
the duration of 4 years, I mean, that's a pretty substantial amount of money. And so I, unfortunately, being the not very good standardized test taker I was, I did not meet that extra 2 point threshold, and I wasn't eligible for that extra tuition money. So taking advantage of a program like Get Smarter Prep, where the experts can help prepare young people to succeed on standardized tests, that's unbelievable. And then establish good study patterns and study habits at a young age. I could still take advantage of that to this day.
Right. Yeah. And obviously we have different programs, but for student athletes, just to get 2 more points, that is so incredibly doable. We do have students who come in and who, we want a 10-point increase, and that's a little far-fetched. I mean, it has happened before. So we're not saying that it's impossible, but that is difficult. So, but like you said, at like 2 points to get this incredible amount of scholarship money is so incredibly doable. We can do that. And so to collaborate together, to have your student athletes come in and be able to increase their ACT score to get that much more scholarship money, or just to be able to get into a college is huge. So to be able to learn those, life skills with you guys, with Team Cura, and then to get that extra increase in your ACT is really a good partnership, I think.
So Jill, let me ask you this. As a 25-year-old, am I able to retroactively come back and enroll and Get Smarter Prep so I can retake the ACT? Do you think they would let me do that?
We've got free practice tests. You can just come in and take it if you want to.
I think I might have to do that.
It's kind of my nightmare, but...
Well, I'll do the free one so that you don't have to grade mine personally.
I'll grade it. I will grade yours. Yeah. Wow. We can do it right after the podcast if you want.
We might have to do that because I need to... I still to this day need to establish good patterns.
I know,
study habits. So.
Right. We'll teach
Never
you
too
some
late.
skills. Yeah, Perfect. Exactly. Okay. Well, next I kind of want to talk about some of the trends in high school and sports. What's some of the most popular sports? What are the popular scholarships right now? What are some kind of underlying scholarships that are there that maybe nobody, not a lot of students know about that we could maybe get pretty easily?
Yeah. So the one off the top of my head that I did some research on recently, college eSports.
Oh, wow.
I was not aware that these were even available for being scholarship opportunities until just recently. And when I was in college, it certainly was not a thing. But college esports provides students the opportunity to be a part of an intercollegiate organization representing their respective institution and playing various games on an online basis.
That's insane.
How amazing is that? And they're offering scholarships for these now as well. There are about 120 schools nationwide that are offering collegiate scholarships for college esports.
Mind blown right now.
I know. I mean, the world is just developing at exponential rates, and I love that. I mean, it's offering opportunities. So say maybe a student in high school doesn't have the aspirations per se to play an actual physical sport,
right?
Golf, baseball, volleyball, it doesn't matter. They still have the opportunity to compete as a team in a team environment for their institution and represent their school and travel to competitions and
that's awesome.
Receive scholarship money.
Yeah, for something that they love doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. So,
and then you can have your friend videotape you watching them play, post it on YouTube, and get paid for that.
Right. That's exactly right. Watch
the world we live in.
Gaming online. I mean,
yes.
The highest paid YouTuber is a 6-year-old kid who reviews toys.
Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan's World.
Yes, Ryan's World. That's unbelievable.
He now has a TV show on, I think, Nickelodeon or something.
It's awesome.
It's crazy.
The world of internet that we live in. So, that's one off the top of my head that, even me being in the world of college athletics and scholarships, I just recently became aware of that. And like I said, maybe somebody at the high school level is really passionate about eSports, and they can get a scholarship for that. That's something that high school counselors could certainly make aware to students at the high school level.
And parents, too. Parents are going to be so relieved to know that their son or daughter who loves playing video games can actually get a scholarship for doing so.
So the son or daughter could make the case to their parents and say, hey, Fortnite could pay dividends for my future.
That's right.
But it's funny you asked the question about scholarships as an athletic side of it as well. We do a lot of research on a lot of unused college scholarships. So in the world that we live in, women's rowing and women's golf are two of the most unused college scholarships across the board year in and year out. And just being aware of those scholarship opportunities as females from a student perspective and a parent perspective. There's a lot of opportunity out there. There is a lot of scholarship money to go around. And something that I wasn't aware of at the college level was, just going and applying for scholarships at the college level when in school. You may or may not be eligible for them. I remember a friend of mine applied for a scholarship because I can't remember exactly the qualifications, but he was the only one to apply for that particular scholarship.
Oh, so he got it.
And he got $2,000 worth of aid each semester.
That's amazing.
So just being aware of those opportunities is huge.
And talk with your counselor. I mean, they probably know about these scholarships that are just lying there waiting for someone to take.
The high school counselors can certainly help in that realm. And then college advisors as well, academic advisors, just asking the right questions.
Right.
Just asking, what am I eligible for? I'm interested in this particular subject or this particular area. Is there any opportunity there? And just asking the right questions, I think, is huge to really be aware of for young people to ask for either counselors or academic advisors.
Yeah. And then do your own research as well.
Right.
I mean, just go online and go on the university's website, see what they have available. I mean, if you're super busy and can't get in with a counselor or, maybe are just too shy to ask, whatever the case may be, do your own research. You are the best advocate for yourself. So dig in and let's go for the future, your brightest future possible.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Let's talk a little bit about numbers. So students who play in high school versus college versus beyond college, maybe say pro sports. I know around Kansas City, club sports are so popular.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about that and how that kind of correlates to playing in college and beyond.
Absolutely. So we do a lot of research as it relates to the number of overall high school student athletes there are in the United States. There are about 7 million high school student athletes across all sports in the United States, coast to coast. Of that 7 million, about 7% of them go on to play at the college level.
Okay.
So that's about 500,000, 500,000 or so that go on and play in college. And then the NCAA releases a lot of statistics around what percent of college athletes go on and play it for actual money. And it's about 1% of 7%.
Oh, man.
So the numbers start getting smaller and smaller, even from the number of high school students in the country that go on and play in college. It's very, very small. I look at those numbers and I thank my lucky stars every day that I was given the opportunity to make my dream a reality. But really what we focus on is once that final whistle blows, are you prepared to take the lessons and take the skills that you've acquired as a student athlete and translate them into the real world, into the business world? And because, we certainly by no means want to discourage students to pursue their dreams. I would be the first one to say, absolutely, if you're passionate about it, live out your dream.
Yep.
I would be the first person to stand in whoever's corner and advocate for them to pursue that.
Absolutely.
But preparing them to have a plan B, as we like to say, and prepare themselves the best way that they possibly can.
Yeah.
Because the reality is that not many people get to play a sport. Very small percent. Not many people get to go on and play it for a living. So,
right. Well, and then the skills that the students receive from Skills Beyond Drills program,
Sure.
I mean, you can keep those for life, right? I mean, those are going to help you with different coaches, different teachers, college counselors, your first job interview.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're going to be with you forever.
Yeah.
So skills that are going to stick with you for a long, long time.
Right. You're talking right at my language, Jill. I love it. And that's exactly right. I mean, we draw on a lot of the experiences that not only I went through. My mom, Karen, she's been an HR professional for 30 years and has been an adjunct college professor for 20 years.
I bet she's seen a lot in the HR department for sure.
Sure. She's seen a lot of really good job candidates. She's seen some not so good job candidates.
Yeah.
So we draw on experiences that she has seen in the HR world, experiences that I went through as a student athlete. And that's really, touching back on
perfect
the
combo
creation of Skills Beyond Drills. We've culminated a number of different experiences that we've gone through. And by no means do we have it nailed down to an exact science, but it's taking the information that's out there and curating it into a singular curriculum that, like you said, Jill, is going to stick with young people through the duration of their life.
Yep, it is. It really is. Well, here's one question for you, Rob.
Okay.
If you could give high school students your best piece of advice, what would it be?
Ooh, it's a loaded question.
I know.
I love
loaded questions.
So the thing that I would really say for young people is take advantage of all the opportunities that are out there. I mean, we work so closely with the CAPS organization in Blue Valley. And I went through that program when I was a senior in high school, and seeing how forward-thinking and intuitive and smart and motivated young people are in the world that we live in today is so refreshing to see. And the thing that I would just tell young people is, don't be afraid to experiment with something that you're passionate about or that you're interested in, and really educate yourself on it, and just take advantage of all the opportunities that are out there, because there's so many.
Yeah.
And looking back on it in hindsight perspective, I certainly wish that I would have done that when I was of that age. But show up every day and give it 100%, and you certainly can't go wrong. Giving 100% effort is it'll get you a long ways.
I love it. Best advice.
Absolutely.
I love it. Wonderful. Well, if you have any other questions for Rob or anyone at Team Cura, you can visit their website, teamcura.com, or shoot them an email at info@teamcura.com. And of course, you're on all the social media websites, including Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us on our podcast today.
Thank you for having me, Jill. It was a lot of fun.
Wonderful to have you. Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time.
High school can be tough. We'll help you navigate some of the areas you need help with, including the college preparation process, by providing advice for families. Every student is different and has a unique path. That's why we created this podcast. Our innovative and intentional approach builds confidence in the individual student. Listen each week to find out how students can score better on college placement tests with techniques and methods that build confidence, beat test anxiety, and identify strengths within each student. You're listening to Simply Smarter with hosts Caleb and Jill. Check out our blog at GetSmarterPrep.com for more college prep related topics.